Hello everybody, this is Big Lou here. It's been a long time since I did one of these, my thoughts on E3, so better late than never, extremely late than never, because, life. So, today, or whenever you're listening to this, I'm going to be talking about Microsoft first. So, this is completely off the cuff, so these are just going to be my thoughts. I'm not going to do play-by-play commentary on what was revealed. So, overall, my thoughts of the Microsoft conference, it was pretty good. I mean, they showed off some games I was pretty interested in, along with some other news and events that has happened, but I feel that while I still think the Microsoft conference was okay, it got me to thinking about something. And I'll end it off with positive news about what was my favorite game of the show, but the fact that throughout the entire conference, that Microsoft was basically talking about Game Pass and coming from someone who has Game Pass Ultimate within I think the past 2 years. It is a pretty good subscription service to have. Now this isn't anything, as they say, quote unquote shielding or anything. I'm just saying from someone who has a base Xbox One and most recently just got myself a gaming PC. It really is a win-win for me personally, but this also brings up another thing about the Microsoft conference that I've noticed. But then again, it's just E3 in general, how most of the games you see. Now, Microsoft conference, a good amount of them, I feel there was a few where it showed in-game engine trailers, so I feel that they kind of got the message with basically people getting sick and tired of seeing basically pre-rendered cutscenes, and we still got that, but I felt it wasn't as bad. And the other thing that I just, well, yeah, it wasn't until this E3 that made me think about it. I thought it was last E3. Well, E3 2020, that's funny. But anyway, the fact that it made me realize that coming from somebody that does not have a Series X, and I still have the base Xbox One, not the Xbox One S, the VCR looking Xbox One. In fact, to be more specific, I have the Sunset Overdrive Xbox One edition, so there you go. So, it made me come to realize that the fact that the Cyberpunk situation, and I was heavily debating between getting it on PC and Xbox One. And overall decided, you know what? CD Projekt Red, they make games on PC, they make ports to console later, so I went with the PC version. And in hindsight, I really dodged the bullet there by getting it on PC. But I just thought that now I really don't have a reason to play my base Xbox One. I mean, in all honesty, the only thing I use my base Xbox One for is for streaming. So I'm starting to game more and more on my PC than I am on my regular Xbox. So I'm just thinking maybe I'm just gonna. I mean, thanks to Game Pass, my saves are in the cloud, so I can play a game on PC, and then when I do get a Series X, I can just transfer my save over to the Series X, which actually, in hindsight, that's what I'm actually going to do with, like, I also, because I want to get the Series X and PS5, but for the PS5, I kind of feel that the games that I have that have the PS5 upgrade, I'm just going to hold off on those games because I already have a huge back catalog of PS4 titles to play through. And apparently, transferring your saves from PS4 to PS5 is, if for someone like me that doesn't have PlayStation Plus, it's not tedious, but I just like how with Xbox it's just all synced on the cloud automatically, while I didn't have to pay. While with Nintendo and PlayStation, I have to pay for a subscription fee for cloud saves. So, with that out of the way, my favorite game that they showcased for me personally was Forza Horizon 5, because Oh my gosh, I am a huge fan of the Forza franchise. Ever since this is going to be a deep cut for some Xbox people, but back in the Project Gotham racing days. So yeah, there you go. And Blur, yeah, you remember Blur? Well, you will after a quick Google search. But anyway, yeah, what I liked about Forza 5 is it, out of all the open world racing games, this, it looks like they are really, really going all out with this one. And honestly, I cannot wait to see what that game has to offer. And it's because of this that now I should bring this up though. It's good that I brought this up, that I just remembered. They talk about Game Pass, but if there is one game that I recommend if you love the Forza franchise, for goodness sake, the Forza games is something you have to buy physical. The reason I say this is because Forza Horizon 1, 2, and 3 have been delisted from the Microsoft Store because the licensing fees for the cars and the music, that is expired. And I'm not sure about the Forza Motorsport games, but last time I checked, I think 7 is still available, but I think 6 is no longer available. So that's something they really don't tell you, is that the Forza games, except for the latest ones, like, yeah, you can still purchase Forza Horizon 4, but 3 and below, you gotta go physical, because all the well, yeah, that's another thing too. All the DLC has been delisted as well. Unless you purchased it, you can re-download it, but if you didn't, well, enjoy a bare bones game. So just a little information right there. So my favorite game they showcased at Microsoft was Forza Horizon 5, and it is nice that people are now realizing the franchise and how great, I mean, of a racing game it is. I mean, yeah, it has arcade controls, but I'll take arcade over sim, even though I still feel that even the Forza Motorsport is still a good sim game as well. I mean, Gran Turismo, I'm hoping with the new one they'll get it right, but I felt that Drive Club, when people asked me what was a better game for PS4, I just told them Drive Club, and I guess Sony didn't agree with me because that game, the studio that makes that game is no more, so that is unfortunate. But if you can find it, please do, because apparently the price of that game has gone up because the company is no more. So, like I said, this was like basically my quick E3 rundown of Microsoft, even though it doesn't feel like an E3 rundown, but this is just how I feel. Like, if I were to give it a grade, I give it a B- or a 3.5 out of 5, because once again, they showcased some surprises. Like, I think the biggest surprise for me was the Pirates of the Caribbean DLC. That is actually one feature I did not see coming out of that just basically came out of nowhere. And the new Battlefield game, that looks awesome, but once again, I see myself maybe playing that on PC, but then again, I might get it on Xbox just because of my friends. So yeah, I mean, that's basically my thoughts on it. I mean, I really didn't have anything bad to say about it other than the fact that, well, there are some games that I'm looking forward to that's not coming out till next year and the following year, but I guess it's just sad to say that when you're watching a Microsoft conference, you're basically expecting most of your favorite titles to come out year or 2 years down the road. So we'll just see with them acquiring these studios what they can do, because honestly, as of right now, I mean, like I said, there are still other indie titles and other games I'm looking forward to playing, but thanks to Game Pass, it makes it more incentive of me to get it. But other than that, I mean, that's my thoughts. I mean, stay tuned for my other thoughts on the other conferences that I watched, and take care, everyone. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I almost forgot about Halo Infinite. So yeah, they showed new somewhat gameplay footage of the campaign mode, and personally, I am looking forward to completing the campaign mode of Halo Infinite, but the part that got a lot of people excited was mostly the multiplayer, since this is interesting since multiplayer is going to be free to play, so I could only imagine microtransactions that might be involved with this. Hopefully they don't do that, but it wouldn't surprise me if they do. And I will give them props. The trailer for the multiplayer gameplay did bring back some Halo vibes of going to people's houses with your TVs and all and doing some good old-fashioned system link LAN parties that lasted the entire night. So this could be a situation where I try to play the single player, but my friends and relatives wants to do the multiplayer, so I'd be down with that. But like I said before earlier, that I see myself probably playing this on PC instead of, although I'm sure 343 will be able to have the game playable on my base Xbox One, but you know what, at this point I might as well just get it on PC until I get an Xbox Series X. So yes, it's a good thing I remembered that, because man, I definitely would have got some heat if I forgot about Halo Infinite.